So I want to show you right now, how do you create an action plan using the coaching app? It's really very simple. So first of all, in your action plan, you just go over and click on the tab here. It says Action Plans, and there you'll have action plans. I'm loaded in here as the primary for a company called Acme Cars. The primary means the business owner. If I were an employee, I would see my plans and the company plans. As the primary, I'll see everyone in my company's plan, plus I will also see my plans. So you'll notice that plans are either company plans, which are created by the primary of a company, the owner of a company, or there are personal plans, which might be for somebody who maybe leads the operations team for you or leads your sales team if you want them to have their own plan. Or maybe you have your financial, your controller has her plan, and then you have the company plan. So you'll see different types here. On this main stage here, I can view it, I can edit it, I can print it, I can email it, or I can delete it here. Let's come in and do some editing. First, let's create a plan of our own. So I'm going to hit the Create Plan, and it's going to take me to a page that now says I can create a plan. I'm going to pick a date that it's going to be for. Is it for Q3 or Q4 or Q1 of a different year? That's what I'm going to start with. I'm going to pause this recording for a quick moment. I'm going to actually pull up a plan that I was working on a little bit earlier to speed up, kind of like the cooking show. I'm going to kind of cheat and go into the oven that has a partially done plan. Notice, though, first that you have a plan that could be a company plan or a personal plan. I can choose whichever I want. The difference is, if I choose the company plan, that's the main plan that you're already trained to use as part of the business coaching program. This is your 3 focus areas for the company as a whole. If you or a team member want to create a personal plan on, in addition to that, that's not a bad idea. Like, for example, if your company, if your top 3 focus areas were lead generation and were your collections process and to make a key hire somewhere, you might have your operations person might have one of those top focuses in his or her priorities, but there might be 2 others that didn't quite make it to the company level, but did in fact make it to that operations person's plan. Okay, let's jump into and create an action plan together. So the first thing you notice I'm doing is I go to where it says focus area, and I pick a focus area for us right now. And so maybe I say that one of our key focus areas is on lead generation. Okay. And I'm going to choose who I'm going to assign this to. So I go to my menu here, and I can either type in somebody here. So in this case, this is all the staff members that are in that company. You'll see these are kind of made up ones. Let's put a name here for a second here. Let's choose Acme Car Staff, and let's say it's an actual individual. That might be Becky Sue. And I give a date for that. I'm going to say this whole focus area needs to be done by the end of December. We'll say December 30th, and here we go. Great. So now I got to go over here and add a criteria of success. If you remember a criteria of success, you can go to the rollover here. What would you need to accomplish this quarter in this area to feel you were successful here? And maybe you say things like, I would need to have a baseline lead generation scorecard created and consistently used. All right. And I can hit enter and do another one. I'm going to pause this recording for a moment and enter a couple of other criteria of success here. And so you notice here I put things like I've sorted through my past lead generation files and put my very best ones into our UBS. Maybe I have 2 mailers that we used in the past that worked well, and maybe I have an e-letter sequence that worked really well. And so for my key here, my focus here is, let's say not just lead generation, but let's say lead generation, building my base, or not my, I don't want to use that word, our baseline system. Great. And I'm going to do a sweet spot analysis and pick 2 or 3 tactics to test out. And you want to pick one KPI, one key performance indicator for each of your focus areas if you're comfortable using it. If you've never done this before, just choose one focus area and have one KPI. Don't overwhelm yourself. Learn this bit by bit. I've chosen the number of new leads we've created this week. Per week, and that's a nice number to track. If I did that, I can start working on making that better, whether I have 5 leads this week or 50 leads or 500 this week, and I can look at optimizing that number over time. I want to, I can click save here, and that just saves my, oops, it says I can't do it because I have 2 plans already for the quarter, but I'll do that at the end here. I'll make sure I go back and save that here. And so now I can come over here to the action steps. So what would the action steps need to be for that? So maybe one of my action steps would maybe be something along the lines of, so gather and sort old lead generation files on computer. Pick the best ones to put into our UBS, or system of all of our systems, and I'm going to give that to, let's just pick a name here. So I'm going to pick the name. I'm going to give this to John Smith. I can always just type in a name. Oops, John Smith. And I'm going to make the due date for this one here. Let's make the due date October 31st, and there we go. And when I'm done with this, I can just click a new action step, type that one in there. Give me a second here. I'm going to pause this while I go ahead and do this here right now. All right, so you'll notice here that I put some more in here. For example, I put down create a marketing scorecard and train my team on how we'll track the leads and enter those leads daily into the spreadsheet that's housed in our UBS. And I put conducting a sweet spot analysis to pick the best 3 ideas. And I've tested out at least one tactic, and I've assigned somebody who's responsible to own it. Now, maybe John Smith isn't the only one involved. Maybe it's going to take John plus Betsy to do both this, but one person needs to be in charge and own each step. They can have other people that they have help them, but one person has to own it. And I picked a date for each. So when I'm done with all these things, I probably want to come back over here and hit the save button. It's going to save what I've got there. Notice it shrinks down and out. I can always hit this button here to expand it all out versus collapse. It's just a simple button there. And now I'm ready to go with what's my second focus area, and I type that in and do the exact same thing again. This is how you create your action plan. When you're done creating the action plan again, you just hit save. And when it's saved, you now can do a couple things. You can print it, which you press that button, and lo and behold, here's your action plan in a nice pretty format with that. And you can also do send it. You hit the send button, and you can send it to whoever you want to. You set up your own distribution list, the name and the email. If you want to add somebody, click the add button, type in their name, type in their email address. If I want to add them to my default list, is that every time I hit the, I open this up to send it, whoever my default list, they'll get added to it. If I want to take them off, I can always just hit the delete button with that. When I'm done, I just press the send button. Let's get rid of this fake one here. I press send, and lo and behold, I wait, and boom, notification was sent, and I'm done. And that's how you create an action plan for it for yourself. It's really simple, really straightforward. Again, a couple things to remind yourself about. Every staff member of yours can see the company plan, and they can see their own personal plans. You as the primary, as the owner, gets to see the company plan and all the individual plans for everybody. And it's really that straightforward, that simple to use.